Have you ever felt the weight of your own hesitation, the silent force that keeps you from stepping into your true power? Not because you lack the ability, but because you've been conditioned to wait. Waiting for approval, waiting for permission, waiting for the world to tell you it's finally time. But let me tell you something history has proven time and time again. The men who shape the world do not wait. They decide, they move, they conquer. The greatest civilizations were built by men who refused to ask for permission. The Roman Empire wasn't forged by men who hesitated. The Stoic masters, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, did not rise to greatness by seeking validation. They understood that true strength, true power, and true purpose come from within. No king, no leader, no society will hand you your destiny. You must claim it. And yet too many men live trapped in indecision, searching for permission to be great. They wait for someone to tell them their dreams are valid, that their ambitions are worthy. But this mindset is a slow poison. It kills potential before it ever has the chance to take root. Today, I will give you 5 powerful principles to build your life without hesitation, without excuses, and without waiting for the world to approve of your path. These are not mere theories, they are the battle-tested strategies that have defined the most powerful men in history. Before we continue, take a moment to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Now let's begin. 1. Command your mind. Forge an unshakable mental fortress. Every empire, every legacy, every revolution, before they took form in the world, they existed in the mind of a man who refused to break. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. If it is weak, your life will be fragile, swayed by doubt and fear. But if it is strong, no setback, rejection, or obstacle can shake your foundation. The greatest men in history understood this truth. The warriors of Sparta did not enter battle questioning their abilities. They had trained their minds to be as unbreakable as their bodies. The Roman generals who expanded the empire into unknown territories did not wait for certainty. They built it within themselves. The Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, knew that control over one's mind is the highest form of power. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled during one of the most turbulent times in Roman history, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And this is the foundation of mental mastery. It's not what happens to you that breaks you, it's how you interpret it. If you see obstacles as signs to quit, you will crumble. If you see them as stepping stones to greatness, nothing can stop you. But most men today do not control their minds. They are controlled by fear, doubt, and the constant need for validation. They hesitate, second-guess, and wait for permission to be great. And in doing so, they waste the most valuable resource they have, time. A man who masters his mind masters his destiny. If you want to become unshakable, you must train your mind to be impenetrable, like the walls of a fortress that no storm can tear down. How to build an unbreakable mind? 1. Kill the need for approval. A man who waits for permission will never lead. The need for approval is a cage, and too many men live their entire lives trapped inside it. They hesitate before making decisions, wondering what others will think. They downplay their ambitions to fit into the expectations of those who have never dared to dream big. Look at the greatest leaders in history. Julius Caesar did not ask for permission before crossing the Rubicon and seizing Rome. Napoleon Bonaparte did not wait for the world's approval before reshaping Europe. They saw their path, they made a decision, and they moved forward with conviction. Stop seeking validation. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you are good enough. Choose your path and walk it like a man who knows exactly where he is going. 2. Embrace hardship as training. Most men avoid discomfort. They want success, but they run from struggle. They want confidence, but they refuse to face their fears. They want greatness, but they shrink at the first sign of difficulty. Understand this: the strongest men in history were not made in comfort. The Spartan warriors trained in brutal conditions from childhood, forging their bodies and minds into machines of war. The Roman soldiers endured sleepless marches, freezing nights, and endless battles. They did not complain. They adapted. They grew stronger. If you want to be unshakable, you must stop running from hardship. Instead, seek it. Make it your training ground. When life tests you, do not flinch. Stand firm and welcome the challenge. Every struggle you face is an opportunity to sharpen your mind and harden your resolve. 3. Master your emotions. Seneca once said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This is the essence of true discipline. Most men are slaves to their emotions. They react impulsively, allowing fear, anger, or doubt to dictate their actions. They break under pressure because they never learned to control themselves. But the man who masters his emotions is unstoppable. Imagine a battlefield. One man fights with discipline, his mind clear and steady. Another man fights with rage, swinging wildly and losing control. Who survives? The man who remains composed. This is how you must approach life. Do not let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. Train yourself to be calm under pressure. Let your mind remain steady when others panic. When you control your emotions, you control your destiny. The day you stop craving validation is the day you step into real power. A man who does not need approval moves with certainty, and certainty is what separates those who lead from those who follow. I want you to drop a comment below. What is one belief you refuse to let control you anymore? 2. Take command. Turn thought into action. Before time runs out, the world does not reward hesitation. It does not wait for the man who stands still, overanalyzing every possibility, hoping for the perfect moment. It moves forward, relentlessly, leaving behind those who fail to act. Look at history. The men who built empires, who led revolutions, who carved their names into eternity, were not the ones who hesitated. They did not waste time in endless contemplation, fearing failure or waiting for validation. They saw an opportunity, seized it, and let action carve the path forward. Too many men today live trapped in overthinking. They convince themselves they need more time, more information, more permission, but time does not wait. Every moment you spend hesitating is a moment lost forever. And the harsh truth is this: if you do not act, someone else will. The truth about action. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, ruled over Rome during times of war, disease, and political betrayal. He faced impossible decisions daily, decisions that affected millions. Yet, he did not freeze in fear. He lived by a simple rule: act now. In Meditations, he wrote, "Do what nature demands, get to work, do what you were born to do." This is the essence of decisive action. You will never feel fully prepared. The conditions will never be perfect. But a man who waits for perfection accomplishes nothing. The difference between the men who succeed and the men who remain stuck is simple: action. A general does not wait for perfect battle conditions. He strategizes, he moves, he adapts. A builder does not wait for the weather to be ideal. He lays the foundation and adjusts as he goes. A lion does not wait for the perfect opportunity to hunt. It strikes when the moment presents itself. You must do the same. How to develop relentless action? 1. Make decisions quickly and own them. Most men spend their lives in limbo, trapped in indecision. They fear making the wrong choice, so they make no choice at all. But hesitation is a slow death. Great leaders, warriors, and conquerors all share one trait: they decide. They do not wait for certainty because they understand that certainty comes through action. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest military minds in history, once said, "Take time to deliberate, but when the time for action comes, stop thinking and go in." Your first instinct is often the right one. Learn to trust it. Make a decision, take responsibility for it, and move forward without looking back. 2. Accept that failure is part of the process. Most men fear failure more than they fear mediocrity. This is why they never take risks, why they never put themselves in situations where they could lose. But in doing so, they guarantee the greatest failure of all, a life of regret. Understand this: failure is not the opposite of success. It is the process of success. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Julius Caesar suffered defeats before becoming Rome's greatest ruler. Every great man has stumbled, but what separates them from the weak is that they used failure as a lesson, not an excuse of "you are not failing, you are not pushing yourself hard enough." The only real failure is not trying at all. 3. Move forward, even when fear tries to stop. Your courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking action despite fear. A warrior walking into battle does not feel fearless. He feels fear, but he does not let it stop him. A man starting a business, approaching a woman, or pursuing his dreams will feel fear, but if he allows that fear to control him, he will never step forward. The Stoics believed that fear is nothing more than a mental illusion, an obstacle you create in your own mind. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." What does this mean? The things you fear most will rarely destroy you. The rejection, the failure, the embarrassment, it will pass. But what will haunt you forever is knowing you never tried. A lion does not ask for permission to hunt. A real man does not ask for permission to live. The time for hesitation is over. You do not need another sign, another excuse, or another moment to delay. Make a decision, take the first step. Act now. I want you to drop a comment below. What is one action you've been avoiding? And what will you do about it today? 3. Forge unbreakable discipline, the foundation of greatness. Motivation is a fleeting illusion. It comes and goes like the wind, unpredictable and unreliable. One day you feel unstoppable, ready to take on the world. The next, you wake up tired, unmotivated, and stuck in the same old cycle. This is why most men fail. They build their lives on motivation, not discipline. Discipline is different. It is steady, unshaken, and permanent. It is what separates the men who achieve greatness from those who remain average. The warrior who trains every day, whether he feels like it or not. The leader who makes the hard choices, even when it would be easier to retreat. The craftsman who perfects his skill, not when he's in the mood, but because excellence demands it. A man who relies on discipline does not need motivation because he moves forward regardless of how he feels. The Stoic view on discipline, Seneca, believed that a man must train himself like a warrior, strengthening his mind and body through daily challenges. He wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." What does this mean? It means that the man who avoids hardship also avoids growth. He never pushes himself beyond his comfort zone, never tests his limits, never discovers what he is truly capable of. He remains soft, weak, and untested. The greatest men in history understood that discipline is not a burden, it is a necessity. The Roman legions, the Spartan warriors, the samurai, they were not the strongest because of natural talent. They were the strongest because of their unshakable discipline. They trained daily, whether they felt like it or not. They did not ask themselves if they were in the mood, they acted because it was required of them. And this is what you must do. If you only take action when you feel like it, you will never build anything great. Your body will remain weak, your mind will remain fragile, and your potential will rot away in the graveyard of hesitation. But if you learn to act despite your emotions, to move forward even when it's hard, you will become the kind of man who cannot be stopped. How to build unbreakable discipline. 1. Create a daily routine. Live with structure. Weak men drift through life without direction. They wake up without a plan, react to whatever happens, and waste hours doing meaningless things. They rely on motivation to decide whether they will work, train, or improve themselves. Great men do the opposite. They create structure, and they follow it no matter what. Marcus Aurelius, even as Emperor of Rome, followed a strict daily routine. He woke up early, studied philosophy, trained his body, and handled the affairs of the empire with unwavering focus. He did not rely on how he felt that morning. He had a purpose, and his routine ensured that he moved toward it daily. Your success will be determined by what you do every single day, not by what you do when you feel motivated. Design a routine that pushes you forward, then follow it relentlessly. Eliminate distractions. Cut out the noise. The modern world is filled with distractions: social media, meaningless entertainment, mindless scrolling, and endless excuses to avoid doing real work. These distractions kill discipline because they pull your mind away from what truly matters. Great men do not allow themselves to be distracted. They guard their focus like a king guards his throne. Look at the most powerful warriors and philosophers in history. The Spartans lived with a single focus: to train for battle. The Stoics spent their days in deep study, refining their wisdom. They did not allow the world to dictate their attention. They controlled it with discipline. You must do the same. Cut out the distractions that steal your time and energy. Create a space where your mind is free to focus on what matters. When you remove the noise, you gain clarity, and clarity leads to unstoppable progress. 3. Challenge yourself daily. Seek the hard path. Most men avoid discomfort. They take the easy road, choosing convenience over challenge. But this is why they remain weak. Understand this. Growth only happens when you embrace discomfort. The Roman soldiers trained harder than their enemies, enduring brutal drills and relentless marches, so that when battle came, they were unstoppable. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, deliberately exposing themselves to discomfort to strengthen their minds. The greatest warriors, thinkers, and leaders sought out difficulty because they knew it was the only way to grow. If something is hard, do it anyway. If you feel tired, push through. If you fear failure, take action despite the fear. Every time you conquer a challenge, you become stronger, and the stronger you become, the less the world can shake you. Discipline is the foundation of every great achievement. It is the force that turns ambition into reality. It is what separates the leaders from the followers, the strong from the weak, the men who build legacies from those who fade into nothing. A man who masters discipline does not need motivation because he is already moving forward. I want you to drop a comment below. What is one habit you will commit to daily, no matter what? 4. Develop unshakable, emotional strength. Become the man who cannot be broken. In a world where men are taught to react, to seek validation, and to let emotions dictate their actions, the strongest man is the one who remains unshaken. The Stoics believed that true power does not come from physical strength alone. It comes from the ability to master one's emotions. A man who is ruled by his emotions is a man who can be controlled, but a man who controls his emotions, he becomes unstoppable. Most men today live at the mercy of their feelings. They get angry when criticized, discouraged when rejected, and distracted by every emotional storm that comes their way. They allow the outside world to dictate how they feel and, in doing so, give away their power. This is why so many men remain weak. They never learn to control the one thing that truly belongs to them, their mind. The power of emotional mastery. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors of Rome, was betrayed countless times. His closest allies turned against him. Those he trusted sought to overthrow him. But unlike lesser men, he did not allow anger, hatred, or sadness to consume him. He remained calm, focused, and unshaken, because he understood one truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. What does this mean? It means that the world will never stop testing you. People will betray you. Women will leave you. Friends will disappoint you. But none of these things can break you unless you allow them to. A man who reacts emotionally is a man who can be manipulated. A man who stays in control is a man who commands respect. How to build emotional strength. 1. Do not react. Emotionally to criticism, use it as fuel. Weak men crumble when they are criticized. They take every insult personally, they get defensive, and they let the words of others control their emotions. But strong men, they do not flinch. Understand this, criticism is inevitable. If you are doing anything worthwhile, people will attack you. The more you succeed, the louder the critics will become. But their words only have power if you give them power. The Stoics believed that every insult is an opportunity to practice patience, to refine wisdom, and to strengthen emotional resilience. Instead of reacting emotionally, learn from the criticism, discard what is useless, and keep moving forward. 2. Remain calm in conflict. Master the art of composure. A man who loses control in conflict loses respect. If you lash out in anger, panic under pressure, or allow your emotions to dictate your response, you give your enemy exactly what they want, power over you. Look at the greatest leaders in history. They were not the men who yelled the loudest or reacted impulsively. They were the ones who stayed calm, who thought clearly under pressure, who controlled their emotions while others lost theirs. Julius Caesar, when confronted with betrayals and conspiracies, did not act recklessly. He observed, strategized, and struck when the time was right. Emotional control is a weapon. Use it wisely. 3. Detach from others' opinions. Free yourself from approval seeking. The moment you stop caring about what others think, you become truly free. Most men live their lives seeking approval. They shape their actions based on how others will perceive them. They fear being judged, ridiculed, or disliked. But the Stoics taught that the opinions of others are none of your concern. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What does this mean? It means that if you care too much about how others see you, you will never take the bold actions necessary for greatness. People will always have opinions, but their opinions do not determine your destiny. You do. Your mission is what matters. Your principles are what define you. Stop allowing the thoughts of weak men to dictate your actions. Detach, move forward, and let your results speak for themselves. But a man who masters his emotions cannot be broken. He does not crumble under criticism. He does not lose control in conflict. He does not seek validation from the world. He is strong because his strength comes from within. I want you to drop a comment below. What is one emotional weakness you will conquer starting today? Live with purpose. Build a legacy that outlives you. A man without purpose is like a ship drifting aimlessly at sea, lost, powerless, and at the mercy of the wind. He wakes up each day without direction, chasing temporary pleasures and wondering why he feels empty inside. If you want to build a meaningful life, you must live for something greater than yourself. Most men waste their years chasing distractions, drowning in comfort, and avoiding the responsibility of purpose. They wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or someone to tell them what their mission should be. But the truth is, no one will hand you your purpose. You must create it. The importance of purpose. Look at the great men of history: Julius Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, Theodore Roosevelt. These men did not waste time searching for permission. They did not sit around waiting for the world to validate them. They acted, they built, they led. Julius Caesar conquered nations and reshaped the Roman world because he refused to be another nameless senator in the crowd. Marcus Aurelius ruled with wisdom and resilience, leaving behind Meditations, a blueprint for strength and self-mastery that still inspires men centuries later. Theodore Roosevelt transformed America with his energy, discipline, and vision, proving that one man can change history if he dares to act. These men did not ask what life could give them. They asked what they could give to life. And that is why they are remembered. If you want to be the kind of man who commands respect, not just today, but for generations to come, you must build something that outlives you. How to find and live your purpose. 1. Ask yourself, what will you leave behind? Your purpose is not about what you can take, it's about what you can build. A man's true legacy is not in the money he makes or the possessions he gathers, but in the impact he leaves behind. Will you be remembered as a man who built something great, or as someone who faded into obscurity? Will your actions today be talked about by those who come after you, or will your name be forgotten? Purpose is not found, it is created through the work you do every single day. 2. Work on it relentlessly, every single day. Most men fail because they wait for motivation. They think they need inspiration to act. But great men know that purpose is built through discipline. Even if you improve by just 1% every day, in time, you will become a master. This is how the greatest warriors, thinkers, and leaders shape themselves. They did not wait. They built. If your mission is to build wealth, work on it every day. If your mission is to master your body, train relentlessly. If your mission is to lead, learn the skills necessary to guide others. Your purpose is not a vague idea, it is the work you do daily that moves you toward your ultimate goal. 3. Never let anyone deter you. Your path is yours alone. The moment you step onto the path of purpose, you will face resistance. People will doubt you, they will call you foolish, they will try to pull you back into mediocrity. But here is the truth: weak men will always try to stop strong men, because your success reminds them of their failures. The Stoics believed that a man must walk his path alone. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach. Surround yourself with those who push you forward. Cut off those who try to hold you back. This is your mission. You do not need anyone's permission to chase greatness. Be the man who moves forward. Without approval, you have one life. One chance to build something meaningful. One opportunity to create a name that will not be forgotten. If you have been waiting, stop. If you have been hesitating, act. If you have been doubting, decide. A man who masters his life does 5 things. He builds an unshakable mind. He takes action without waiting for permission. He disciplines himself to push forward even when it's hard. He controls his emotions so no one can break him. And above all, he finds his purpose and refuses to let go of it. The world does not need another man seeking approval. The world needs a man who moves forward without it. Now, I want you to drop a comment below. What is the purpose you will commit to building starting today? If you found value in this message, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support not only motivates me to keep creating impactful content, but it also helps spread these powerful lessons to those who need to hear them the most. Together, we can challenge common misconceptions and empower each other to live with purpose, strength, and unwavering resolve.